Hello everybody, I'm Sarah and I'm a recorder player. The 6 Brandenburg Concertos from 1721 are, in my opinion, some of Bach's best works. And let's face it, number 4 is the best one. These concertos are really special because each one is written for a very unusual group of instrument soloists, a concerto grosso. In number 4 we have not only 2 recorder soloists but a very virtuosic violin solo as well. I'm going to show you how to play the first movement, but first let's listen. What should we be looking out for when we're playing it? The first is the instrumentation. Let's just check. Is this definitely for recorders? We sometimes see modern orchestras playing this movement with 2 modern flutes, and we know it's not that because in the 5th concerto it gives this flute, the sideways flute, as a traversière, the traverso. If Bach wanted these flutes for the 4th concerto, he would have specified that, so it is something different. If we look at the title page, it gives something really curious, and excuse my reading in Italian, but it says the soloists are violino principale and 2 flauti d'eco, 2 echo flutes. Mention has been made in the literature of echo flutes, literally 2 recorders fastened together so you can swap between a loud one and a soft one. When I read this, I scoffed. I didn't know why I felt the need to demonstrate scoffing. I scoffed, but the amazing voices of music have actually created echo flutes to play the second movement with. I'm going to show you a little bit here. Dynamics move between loud and soft, and they create this echo by moving between a louder and softer recorder. How exactly they did this? Write to them, they're on YouTube, get in touch. Other conductors have chosen to have the recorder players off stage to create an echo effect. I have to say, as a performer, I do not love that idea. You gotta try everything once, but I don't want to perform a concerto off stage. But for the rest, yeah, this music fits the range of the alto recorder and it works. Based on the ranges of the 2 parts, there is conjecture that the first voice is for the G alto and the second voice is for the F alto. We can't know for sure, but if you like the sound of that and you have those instruments at your disposal, go for it. If you want to read along with me, you can find all of the parts for free on IMSLP, or you can buy my version of the score where I have the 2 recorders together in versions for F altos and G and F alto. For more information, further reading and sources, do check out the controversy PDF in the description. I love that this is controversy, recorder controversy. Let's get into the music. This first movement is characterized by these grandiose arpeggios. I think that's one of the most recognizable and just wonderful openings in the Baroque. And I love that Bach gave it to the second voice. In this movement, the second voice is shadowing the first quite a lot. You're on the lower harmony. You're not in the spotlight so much. So yeah, give them the da-da-da-da-da-da. Whenever you have any arpeggiated figure, you want to get to know that whole arpeggio like the back of your hand, up and down the range. So if we have, You want to extend that as high and low as you can. We're getting that key so ingrained in your fingers that you don't even have to think about it. They will lightly dance over the notes, relying on that muscle memory. And the great thing is, so much Baroque music is built out of these patterns. If you practice this for one piece, it's going to make the rest of your music in that key so much easier. If you are voice 2 and you're playing this opening, let's just talk about that. So, I don't often give musical direction on Team Recorder because I'm very aware that this is a one-way conversation. In a lesson, I will work with my students on the musicality, we'll have a back and forth, we'll try things out. In this medium, I don't want to tell you how the music should be played. So that's why I prefer to give you the tools and you can make the decisions. But I'm going to share one little bit of experience. You don't need to do too much with this opening. Let the music speak for itself. If you do loads with it, I feel it obscures it, you've got nowhere to go. For me, this feels like less is more. But I'm very open to other opinions, let me know in the comments. Important technique tip. Tuning these long notes. Brandenburg 4 is full of tied high notes. For this, you need a solid, supported airstream and attentive listening ears. You're playing one single note, but you should be concentrating, sending it in a direction from the start to the finish. Try and practice along with something whenever you can, whether it's a recording you have or even a MIDI file. You can find these on IMSLP, but keeping those tuning reflexes working. And this relates to my next point, holding over these long tied notes. For the love of God, please, please hold your tied notes. Look at the score. You can see when these notes are tied, underneath are changing harmonies. And if you cut it short, you miss the magic of that harmony shifting underneath. Da-da-dum, 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 da-da-dum. Next point, voice 1. What are we going to do with those high F sharps? I think 3 times in this movement we get this high F sharp where to make it in tune you have to cover the N hole with your knee. Are you ready for some Bach slander? In my opinion, my non-musicological opinion, I think that Bach would neither have known nor cared that this is a tricky note for recorder players. Ooh, I'm on shaky ground here. Why might he not have known? In my experience, unless a composer is a recorder player themselves, they tend not to know the intricacies like that high F sharp needs the bell hole covered. I often have composers ask, is the recorder a chromatic instrument? Can you play more than an octave? Yeah, I know Bach isn't your average composer, but he was a prolific, busy musician composing a fugue a week for the church. I don't expect him to have known every intricacy of the recorder, but maybe he did. Benefit of the doubt. Next point, I firmly believe he would not have cared. How do I know this? Just look at the solo flute partita. Bach definitely knew that wind players needed to breathe, and yet there is nowhere. Oh my God, am I going to get ripped apart on social media for this? I honestly don't mind if it gets you thinking about the music. So yeah, the F sharp is there and it's up to us to solve it. We have 3 options. Option 1, you can slur up from the E below. We play this E, and if you lift fingers 1 and 2 without tonguing, you can create an F sharp. You have to be super precise with your airstream. I notice I have to blow quite a lot and very focused. It gives a little bit of a metallic zing to the sound, but it works. Option 2 is that we play it with the end hole covered. So this is very possible. I do often see resistance to people getting to grips with this hole on the recorder. And although it's a bit tricky, it's new. It's a technique that if you put time into, it's very possible. Now, I did trawl the Renaissance and Baroque recorder fingering charts for you, although this note is often not specified. They had knees in the 18th century, so I think they would have figured it out and done it. That was scientific. Option 3 is that you play the first voice on a G alto, and then you get these fingerings which work beautifully. So choose from those options as you wish. Rhythms. The second voice especially has some very interesting rhythms, some syncopation, some hemiolas. We want these secure and well articulated. It's important to practice them slowly, really feeling where each note falls within the beat. I noticed the tendency to rush in this music, especially with the syncopations. We think we're behind, so we rush ahead, but actually if we relax a little bit, it all falls into place. The same goes for these passages with really crunchy fingerings, looking at you, voice 2. In this passage, we have 17 notes in a row that are sharpened. My brain does not like reading this, so I like to rely more on my muscle memory. I'm taking short sections and getting it into my fingers away from the music, and I find this really helps. Also be aware when the sharps stop. I've not even spoken about the solo violin. If you think that the recorder parts are exciting, listen to this. So sorry, violinists. Can you tell I can't play violin? In a concerto grosso, you always need to know what your role is and what everyone else is doing. So I want you to copy your score. Yes, for study purposes at home, this is absolutely fine. And we're going to colour code. It really helps me to see when I am the soloist and when I'm part of the tutti section, when I'm supporting the solo violin, when do the other instruments come in and out. If you know this, then you can build it into the drama of the music. I recommend when you're starting with the music, work from the score as much as possible and then transfer that information over into your part, but always keep the score as a reference. So I think that's enough to be going on with. As a listening tip, you should definitely check out James Howard Young's arrangements of the Brandenburg Concertos. He's arranged all 6 of them entirely for recorders. And on his website, recorderdots.com, James also has lots of arrangements of Brandenburg 4 for different recorder combinations. As always, you can subscribe to my channel by clicking on my face down here. If you'd like to get the recorder parts, you can do so at my web shop over here. And here's another video. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye!